Hey guys, this is Jaret Smith, North American Snowmobile Division. Today we have an exciting vlog for you. This is vlog number 2 of the 2021 season. Behind me we have a brand new SRX in the box. We're going to be uncrating that snowmobile today. We're going to give you some background on the snowmobile, some key differences with 2021, what makes an SRX what it is, and also some information for those who bought SRXs this year. So some behind the scenes type stuff. We also got a bunch of accessories, so we're going to put some accessories on the unit, some must-haves if you have one of these for the season, what you would typically gravitate towards and putting on. So follow us today as we go through this, and we're going to show you some of the background on the snowmobile. All right, so we started to take the top of the crate off. So right now the SRX is ready to go. We're gonna start putting some parts on it. We wanted to go through some key features. What makes an SRX different? What are unique things you're gonna kind of get with an SRX? So of course, this year, very important. We're gonna do a little bit deeper dive, but the new Stryke ski. So single keel, big design change for this year. Previously, tuner was 2 keel. So we talk about single versus dual keel. This is what you're looking at. So if you're looking down the ski, you're gonna see just 1 keel in the center, 1 carbide in the center. The keel height also affects how it handles. So when we have 1 single keel, you get a little bit sharper handling, a little bit more aggressive handling in the corners. The dual keel does a really good job of anti-darting, but when we went to a single keel, one of the things we did was a unique carbide. So we're gonna look at the carbides here momentarily, but the carbides are a staggered carbide setup, and that's gonna help with that darting. It's gonna help the vehicle from darting, but giving you that good cornering confidence. So we're excited about these ones for this year. This is the new Stryke ski. Of course, SRX comes with race height windshield. We're gonna be putting on a different accessory windshield that you can see behind me, just for that little more wind protection, you know, when it's a cold day and you wanna get a little bit more protection for your hands and your overall chest. So looks great in the showroom, looks great in the garage, but tend to put this on only on the warmer days, but makes the sled look the absolute best with this windshield on. So we're gonna dive into the box now, see what else is coming out of the crate. So of course we have blue handlebar riser, so we're gonna have to be putting that on. Toolkit. This right here are the shims. So these are the new shims for this year for the Stryke ski. So these are what we call a 0 shim. So in the kit that we're going to be offering through Accessory, you're going to have incremental increases. This is 0. The new kit will have a 2.5, a 5.0, and a 7.5. And these sit in here, and what they do is they change the loading on how the ski rubber interacts with the spindle. When you change the loading from front to rear, you can change some of that handling character. So stock, as we talked about, is 0.0. We're gonna be putting those on shortly. So these are all the ski shims we're gonna need. Let's see what else we got in here. All right, so here's a big one. So key feature of an LE or an SRX particular, IQS suspension. So a lot of the overall valves and everything in the shocks is similar to QS3s that you've been experiencing in the past. The biggest difference is everything right here. Electronically, we can control what position you are in. So right from the handlebars of the snowmobile, you can select a soft, medium, firm setting, and that's going to communicate through the electronics on here, and it's going to change the actual setting on the shock. So IQS, of course, only comes on the SRX and the LTX LE snowmobile, both of which are spring order only. Another key point with SRX is the springs. So if you look at the springs on here, and they're kind of like a cone shape. So these are a dual rate spring. So with these, we lower the ride height of the vehicle. These are unique and specific only for SRX. Why we picked these springs is SRX targets, when we were designing that vehicle, a lot of the design targets was not only just top speed. We were also looking for the ultimate handling vehicle. We're looking for that vehicle that was the flattest handling on the groomed trails, and when you're taking that corner, going out wide and you don't want that inside ski to lift. When we keep the vehicle right down to the snow and keep it lower, we can keep it more planted. We can keep that front end flatter, and then you get the best handling. So if you're gonna ask me what is the best handling vehicle in our lineup, always we're gonna gravitate to the SRX. These small changes help refine the handle of the vehicle, and then you get the added benefits of that top speed capability, which we'll talk about a little bit later in the back of the vehicle. We did some changes with regards to the track. So IQS suspension. And there's the other one there. We got the handlebar block, so that's going to go over top of the bars there, a little decorative piece. And here are our carbides. So we talked about it earlier. So a dual keel ski uses 2 keels to help with darting. These are the new carbides that are coming on the Stryke ski. So what you're going to see when you look at this carbide, you're going to see primarily the carbide here, and then you see a staggered section right here. This is a hard weld. So what it does when we have two separate areas is if there's a track ahead of you, and your ski always wants to take the least path of resistance. So it wants to fall into that track that's ahead of it that somebody else was riding on. When you have a dual carbide setup, if somebody ahead of you is only running a single carbide, this hard weld on this side breaks up that path. It is the first one to go in, and then it breaks up the path. So then this carbide, which is a little bit further back, has its own carbide setup to go through and its own path in the snow. So between the two of them, when you're taking two pieces and trying to force them in one small area, you tend to break up that area and it doesn't wander and doesn't dart into those areas. So that's one of the benefits of having a staggered carbide setup like this. Also, you see this portion here is actually a square setup. So this being not rounded and this being a round bar, this square setup's a little bit more aggressive. This is in the center of the ski, so it's going to balance the weight right over this portion where the carbide is. And the square setup's going to give you a little more of an edge when that snow is loose or when that snow is a little bit more granular. This is going to give you a little more bite. So this carbide setup we picked this year for the Stryke ski to help balance the overall handling, give you those anti-darting character, and overall works really well when we were testing it and made to this final specification. So that's basically what we're looking at within the box here. We got some manuals and stuff like that. We're going to dive in now to the rest of the SRX build, so follow us as we build this snowmobile right out of the box to completion. All right, so we're going to start by putting together the skis. So we're going to put our two shims in. Shims going the bottom, facing together. And these carbides are actually going to go through the shims. Like that. So we'll tighten those down, we'll torque them. Then these skis, once the rubbers go on, rubbers will go in between here, between the spindle and the actual ski. These skis will be ready to go on. All right, so the build's coming along. We got the sled pretty much assembled behind me here. Now we're going to focus on accessories. So we're going to take you through some key accessories, what I would typically put on a sled that I'm going to ride for the year. So first we'll start with something like protection. So this is our aluminum front grab bar. Super light, 3.5 pounds. It gives you that protection down on the bottom where you have the intercooler and you have that plastic. So anything where you have a stump or tree or something like that, if you're venturing off trail, this will keep it protected. And it also gives you a much better grab area. So if you are trying to move the sled around in a trailer or in your garage or something like that, you have a lot more area to grab to. So really nice addition to the front grab bar for protection as well as use. Creature comforts, we'll talk about knee pads. So if you're riding in a more forward position all day, typically your knees are against that side panel. So you're going to get a little more protection with these. These are a foam. So they're nice on those cold days. Instead of having your knees against that hard plastic, it gives you a little bit of give, especially if you're riding in some really rough conditions where you're in moguls or you're like a 1 to 2 foot bump when that sled's really pivoting around you. This helps for those sharp impacts on your knees. So nice addition with the knee pads. And then we'll get mainly into storage and stuff like that. So this is a windshield bag. So this fits behind your windshield. Typically, this is somewhere where I'd put like my map, I'd put my ownership, I'd put insurance, stuff like that. You can fit all of that really easy, out of the way, and it's quick to get to. So if you need to grab it at the trailhead, or let's say you come to a T intersection, you can easily zip this open, grab your trail map, see where you're at, and then make a decision. So windshield bag, nice addition. The SRX does come stock with a quick release bag, but it's a smaller version. So this is a large bag, so it goes medium, large, extra large. So this is middle of the range, gets you some more storage. It uses the same quick release fasteners you see here, little dowels. So the quick releases are built in the bag. This kind of bag you could probably do an overnight trip with. You could get a change of clothes in here. You could get a couple bottles of water, spare belts, all that kind of stuff, your toolkit, all in here. So nice size bag. We're gonna put that on the back to give you a little more storage. And of course, it's embossed Yamaha here at the front. And then for those cold weather days, we talked about it earlier. So if you're looking for a little more wind protection, this is the stock windshield in comparison. Quite a bit more protection with this one. So this is called our Low Sport. So this year it's new, the blue one. Previously we didn't have the blue. We had a white with blue, we had white with red, and we had a straight black. So this year it's new addition, which is the blue, and it's Yamaha blue, really nice metallic to it, real nice windshields. This gives you the added protection, wind protection around your hands, get some of that wind blowing above you so you're not getting those real cold days in your chest. So we're gonna add that one onto the sled. The last couple things we got over here are more just kind of billet and ease of use ones. So we have a quick release seat bolt. So this is on the back if you need to access your battery, if you ever had to jump the sled or something like that. You can easily take the bolt off with no tools. So you don't need that Torx to take the seat off. So we're gonna throw one of those on this sled. And the last one is billet rear blocks. So what these are is they're torsion blocks for the rear springs. And typically you have a 3-position setting. So you have like a soft, medium, and firm setting. These blocks actually give you a 4th setting. So in the event that you're traveling, you're putting a little bit of weight on the back, when you have this bag full, that's when you'd start, depending on your weight, you start to look at that 4th block. Gives you a little more preload on the torsion springs and gives you that extra ability to handle the extra weight. So if you're carrying any type of weight on any of our 137 snowmobiles in a torsion spring setup, it's a good idea to pick up a set of these 4-way blocks because it gives you that extra position when you are carrying a little extra weight than you normally would. And when you're not, you can turn it back down, so easy to adjust. That's a quick run through of what we're gonna put on this sled. You can follow us on the build here as we now transition to putting all the accessories on. So follow us and we'll get these on in a short amount of time. All right, so these are our console knee pads. So we were talking about these earlier, how they help with a little bit of bump absorption or in your knees and stuff. So important thing when installing these is to remove them from the unit. Of course, right behind the side panel is your gas tank. You don't want to be drilling anywhere near your gas tank when you're putting these on. So take them off, put them on a nice work surface like this, line up exactly how you want them to be, and then mark your hole locations. Mark your hole locations with a Sharpie or something like that. Drill your holes, and then you can put in the push pins or push darts that hold this on. Making sure you have nice orientation and fitment, and then make sure you drill your holes once you have everything marked cleanly. So we're gonna put these on, and then we'll put them on the unit and show you how they look once they're finally installed. All right, so we got the console knee pads all installed now. As you can see, they fit really nicely on the unit. They give you that little bit extra padding there for your knees when you're in those positions, when you're gonna have your knees hitting that, or when it's a cold day and you have your knee against that hard plastic. So nice installation, and we'll continue on with some more accessories. All right, so now we're gonna move on to the large tunnel bag. This uses our 1/4 turn fastener system. So the best way to install this is first to mark your locations and then drill your holes. So what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna slide it forward. Then as you're sliding it forward, just lift up slightly on the seat, and that'll let you get that tab underneath the seat there. Push it all the way forward to where you're comfortable with how it looks. Pretty flush there, good, and we're good over here. So now once you have it on and you have it centered, you're gonna open it up and you're gonna mark those hole locations. So you mark the 2 locations where you're gonna drill. You drill the holes, make sure that you're clear of the heat exchanger underneath. The holes are wider than the heat exchanger, but you don't want to be drilling into your heat exchanger. So mark your holes, drill your holes, and then you're going to put in the bolt with the little star washer and the dowel for the 1/4 turn. Once it's all installed, you'll be able to take this bag off pretty quickly because it has little 1/4 turns there. So we're going to get this installed now, and then we'll show you the finished product. All right, so we got the front bumper installed. A little bit more of a process with the bumper. You got to pull the fuse box off, and there's a bracket you need to reuse underneath. But basically, there's a couple bolts there and a couple plastic pieces. One bolt at the bottom, so you have 4 there, plus 2 in the back, so there's 6 in the top and 1 in the bottom. Once you have the bumper on, it's really sturdy, nice high gloss black finish, and it is aluminum, so 3.5 pounds, very lightweight. And then you get that added protection down here that's so important, just in case something ever were to jump out on you in front of the trail or on the loose snow. Let's say there's a log or something like that, like we talked about earlier. Not the type of sled that you're typically going to take off trail, but it's just that added protection just in case. Also a little bit more grip as we talk. So you got a nice round tube bar on the front there, which you can grab onto and move around if you needed to. So that's the accessory of the aluminum front grab bar. We're going to continue on to the back now, where we have one more item to put on the snowmobile, then we're all set. All right, so that finalizes the build. Here is our complete snowmobile we took out of the crate this morning. 2021 Yamaha SRX with some interesting accessories we wanted to highlight to you guys. Windshield bag. On the front, we had that front grab bar, as you can see there in the black. We put on the console knee pads here, which give you that a little bit extra softness in your knees, a little bit better for those long days. The back, we put a large tunnel bag. So this bag will give you a little more storage, still uses our quick release. Below the seat here, we do have the Raceworks seat bolt. Allows you to remove the seat without having any tools. Nice, convenient feature there. And then underneath, you saw the torsion springs. We changed the torsion blocks themselves from a 3-position stock block to a 4-position block. The overall unit itself, we talked a little bit earlier. It's a 2021 SRX. So our SRX is spring order only. So all those customers have either received their unit or they're getting their unit any day now as we deliver this fall. And it's key to note that you can only get an SRX if you place a deposit in the Spring Power Surge program. So if you want one of these for next season, keep in mind you're gonna have to put a deposit down on it come March timeframe. So what's special about the SRX is the overall vehicle performance. The rear of the vehicle has a 1-inch track, and we're targeting something specific for that. We're letting the back of the vehicle move a little more through the corner. It frees up the back. With a lowered front ride height, we're really focusing on that groomed trail handling. We're trying to make the vehicle, as we talked about, handle as flat as possible. Part of that is thanks to the new ski. So 2021, we saw the Stryke ski. We showed you how the shims go in earlier. We showed you the differences with shims and how you can get accessory kits to go from a 0 to a 2.5, 5, all the way up to 7.5. And we'll have charts explaining when you would not change those shims and adjust them depending on your riding style or snow conditions. So we're excited for our riders to get on that new ski this year. Again, that's the Stryke ski. Overall ride height is lower on the SRX, which is a unique feature. And then that 1-inch track. So when you really are trying to get that extra few mile an hour on the lake, that track's good for 3 to 5 mile an hour on top. So that's the track that's gonna keep you the first to the end of the lake and being the fastest with all your other buddies when you're racing on the lake. So really good track for that. Now it is a 1-inch, so people are often worried about how much grip they're gonna get. It's different than a lot of other tracks. Some other tracks are cupped on the sides to help movement. The other thing is it's a fully clipped. It's got a durometer that really grabs. So the rubber is a little bit stiffer. What that does is it really grabs on that hard snow and it gets you to get the power down. So with an SRX, it's important. So we really looked at a lot of different track options when we picked this track. 129s, 137s, 1-inch, 1.25. And consistently, this was the fastest track in all different conditions. So handling, acceleration, 800-meter drags, full top speed runs. When we test all those different variables, this was the track we ended up with. So if you have one of these sleds, enjoy the 1-inch. It's a ton of fun. I always gravitate to the SRX when I'm picking a sled to take out for the day. So if you guys have any questions, let us know. As we go through the vlog in this season, we're gonna try and do more in-depth things like this, where we build a snowmobile. We're gonna do some other background on how to maintain your snowmobile, things like oil changes and what you do for season prep. The season's not here yet, but it's a key time to take the time to change your oil, check your sliders, check your carbides, spend some time to get that sled ready, because before you know it, the snow is gonna be here. Thanks for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed the 2021 SRX build. You'll see this sled on snow this year as we get some miles on it and do some fine tuning as we get on snow and see how you change it for your own riding style and fine tune it to yourself. So stay tuned for the vlog this season, guys. We're happy to have you on board, and we'll talk to you soon. All right, guys. Today we talk.